I hated inventory. So I've
Yeah.
talked about it before. The worst one. I remember I had to stay up till like 2 a.m. counting like 10,000 freaking needle burrs. We it's miserable because they're all different. Is it carbide tipped? Is it this? Is it that? What's the dimension? Oh my gosh, they're all
Oh,
different. Needing a
gotcha.
freaking magnifying glass to determine the difference in a couple of them.
Yeah.
But the reason is because they didn't want to run out of something so freaking small and relatively inexpensive on a job. Like that's the stupidest reason to have a stop on a job is we ran out of needle burrs.
Yeah.
So whatever needle burr he needed, he just ordered 100 of each needle burr he was going to need for every
Yeah.
single job. And
Yeah.
then they get tossed into the tool room. Man, I'm flickering again. I need to maybe quit shaking my desk. I got to figure that out. And so all those needle burrs got thrown into drawers and drawers and drawers of file cabinets when they were
Yeah.
done, all the excess ones. We
Yeah.
had enough needle burrs for 2 years.
Yeah.
But it was a waste of money. I can't say here it was a waste of time of someone going and storing it because they didn't really store it properly until that one day.
Yeah.
Um, but it was a mess. Or little things like say you've got bulk material, like you've
Yep.
got a big old sheet of stainless steel. Uh, okay, well, we need material traceability on it still.
Yep.
So do we only order the tiny amount we need pre-cut to what we need? That's kind of expensive. Do we have
Yeah.
huge sheets of it? But what if you lose your material cert to the sheet? How do you handle
Yeah.
that? So there's little
Well,
stuff like we'd write in a paint pen the PO number on the remnant.
yeah. Well, and another thing is like you have to store, all of your storage is worth money.
Mm-hmm.
All of your like stainless, for example, you've got to care for that. You've got to send somebody out to make sure that it's covered,
Mm-hmm.
to make sure that it's, like you may place it a certain way, but you constantly got to be checking on it to make sure it's not touching something else or somebody
Yep.
didn't stock some carbon steel on top of it or that kind of thing. Like, and it's just constant. So like you have to take that into account as well. So
No, it is. And people don't think about it, but like every square inch
yep.
costs money. Like I worked at Best
Oh yeah.
Buy years ago
Yep.
and they were trying to get me to go for assistant manager or whatever. And so I had to take, a few different classes that they had there for it. And one of them was, I'm sure most people never paid attention to these classes, but I actually found it interesting. They explained the cost per square foot on our uh, on the aisles, right? So
Yeah.
like you have the computers there in the aisles and the stuff that's stored below it, but then some stuff gets stored up and way up where you got to get the ladder. Then some stuff is stored back in the warehouse.
Yep.
Like they wanted us to actually be able to calculate how much we were spending on that storage. And
Yeah.
then what's the margin we're making off the laptop that's being stored and displayed there? Is that the best one to display? Could we
Yeah.
display it somewhere else? Should we store the overstock underneath it? Should we store the overstock up there?
Psh, we could probably do a whole podcast on inventory. Now that you think about it,
But it
because
was
not
cool.
only the storage, but then you've got the cash tied up in the material in the, like I can remember making material before an order even came in,
Yeah,
just in anticipation that this order was going to happen and then it doesn't. And
right.
you've already half built the part. So now you don't have the material or the part. You
Mm-mm.
got nothing.
Yeah,
So,
and then all the time that those guys spent working on it,
oh
you
yeah.
could have done something else that made money.
Yeah. So that's
Yeah.
a big one.
Okay,
I
we'll move on from inventory.
yeah. It's
Uh,